What you tell them? Yeah. Pain come and get a gift wrap. Yeah. Success only took it like a kid now. Up and then wide. I'm going across the Brooklyn Bridge. And they become the Flatbush. This is how Brooklyn live.
How y'all doing? How y'all doing? What's going on? Another episode of the Flatbush Famous, man. We got my man Tre Bag, aka Tre Fit, Flatbush Famous. I like to call you personal trainer to the stars, entrepreneur, father. Welcome, man. Tre Bag, man. Welcome to the podcast, brother.
Thank you.
Clap you in. How you doing today, brother?
I'm A-OK, man. I'm glad to be here with you right now, talking about this health, talking about this wealth and how, we could just get ourselves and our people mentally ready for this right here,
Perfect.
Like I always say, man, health is wealth, right? So
Absolutely.
If you're not healthy, it's hard to get wealthy,
So health and wealth goes together. That's true. You can't, if you're wealthy and you ain't healthy, then you ain't wealthy. You know what I'm saying? I think health is more than wealth right now, especially in the climate we in. I think we got a rude awakening on just how to take care of ourselves. I see people more juicing and doing, like CMOS and different things like that now, where even a few years ago, people wasn't even health conscious. You know what I'm saying? Now it becomes a thing where health is in style right now. You know what I'm saying?
That's
So people like yourself is at the forefront.
Yeah, that's a fact.
You're ahead of the game.
Yeah, that's a fact.
So, you're ahead of the game.
So I want to talk about my fitness journey, how I even got started, right? So
tell us about it, man.
So I started working out as a young kid. I was always skinny and small.
Doesn't help that how tall are you?
I was about to say I'm 5'6", so that doesn't help that I'm short. Yeah. I was just about to get that, so I'm short. So it was something that I was like, you know what? Let me start working out, and get my body right. And I started to work out. What helped me was the muscle magazines, right? So the muscle magazines really gave me like the blueprint on how to work out. I didn't even know at that point. I didn't know the nutritional side of working out. I just knew how to work out.
Right.
So now I'm looking at the magazines and they're like, okay, you need protein. Again, I didn't know nothing about protein and carbs and none of that, right? To fuel the body, to build the body. So once I learned that aspect of it, I start working out, doing what the magazines was telling me.
Right.
It helped me to understand, okay, it's more than just lifting weights. Okay, I got to lift the weights. I got to nourish. I have to nourish the body to get the physique that I want. So long story short, I started getting right. Other people noticed. And then they
where were you when this happened? Like, what's going on?
Well,
let me ask you a question. Did you just started? You just tried to get in shape for no particular reason, or what sparked it? What made you even want to work out to get the physique and the nutrition?
Okay, so when I was younger, I would buy weight sets, right? I would buy weight sets and work out for like a week and think I'm gonna get right in a week, and didn't happen. So I would just use it as a clothes rack. What happened, unfortunately, or fortunate, or whatever way you want to look at it, in 1999, I got locked up, right? So now I'm locked up in jail, and I'm in Monroe County, which is in Rochester, New York. So while in Monroe County is like one of the only counties in New York State at the time that still had like weights you could work out with.
In 99?
In 1999, like most county jails, you don't even have that, to be honest.
Right. The ones I was at, none of them had weights.
They really didn't exist. But Monroe County,
more than that.
But Monroe County is a rich county, to be honest. It's a rich county.
So it's upstate New York.
Yeah, upstate New York. So they had their weight sets. So automatically, I start hitting the weights. I was reading the magazines, and I'm getting right. I pretty much built. I went from one. When I was incarcerated, they weighed me. I was 130. By the time I left, I was like 150.
So how that's crazy that a person can gain 20 pounds and gain more nutrition inside of a prison system than you was on the street.
Thank you. Exactly, right?
That's crazy.
So one of the things that helped me build up was I would make oatmeal and I would put peanut butter in it. That was like
Mm-hmm.
so what we call a oatmeal protein shake, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that was my protein source. So I'm not gonna lie. By the time I actually got to like the prison inside the prison system, I already had a nice physique.
Mm-hmm. You talk
You
about when you
know,
got to the county, or by the time you got sentenced and you was getting ready to go to prison.
no, from the time I went. So by the time I was finished with the county and was going to prison.
Right. So how long you was in the
Yes.
county?
So 99 to 2001. So 2 years.
So you was in there 2 years before you got sentenced. So you
No,
worked out for
yeah,
2 years. You worked out for 2 years straight in the county.
yeah.
Right. But
Well, the thing,
you get ready to go to prison.
right. But the thing is this, I'm gonna be honest with you. Most of that time was not in Monroe County.
Mm.
So even though I was in Monroe County in the beginning, I got shipped to Chautauqua County because I basically had two different cases at the time, state and federal. Um, I went to Chautauqua County, no waits. Then after they took me to Chautauqua County, they took me to an immigration spot which is called Batavia, right? It's an immigration place, but they hold federal guys there too.
Gotcha. Because
You
you're
know what I
American,
mean?
right?
Yeah, exactly. So
Okay.
they hold federal guys there too, but there's no weights there either. You know, so I basically only got my weight training while I was in Monroe County, which was about before they took me to Batavia. But I'm gonna say 6 months because
So you
then I
didn't
didn't
work
see
out.
Monroe.
You didn't
So
work
I
out
didn't
when
see
you was in
Monroe
other ones.
County, huh? No, I
You
was
didn't work
working out.
out.
No, I
You didn't
worked
work out
out.
when you was in other jail for the other 18 months.
No, I worked out, but there was
So
no
what did you
weights. The
right? So
difference
I'm
was
saying,
there's
so
no
this is what I'm
weights.
trying to get at. So how did you work out? I know because I've been in prison, so I know exactly what's going on. But I'm trying to ask the questions for the novice person that didn't go to jail. So we know in jail there's weights in certain jails, and we know we make sandbags and water bags in other prisons,
Yeah.
right? So I was trying to I was trying to see if y'all was working out in the other prisons, other county jails, and what did y'all use? Books, water, sand, push-ups, mop sticks. I wanted to paint the picture for the person that never been there. So that's what I was trying to do.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, so we
So
definitely
give me
did the
some more
water bag.
detail.
Yo, look, so we definitely used the water bag. You know, the water
So
bag
tell
is like the famous.
how you
So
did it.
so you get the plastic garbage bag. You get like three or four. You upload it with a lot of water, right? You upload it with a lot of water because basically the key to building muscle is you need resistance. Doesn't matter what the resistance is.
Nice. This is what I
You
want
know
to
what I'm
hear,
saying?
stuff like this.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
doesn't matter what the resistance is. So water holds a lot of weight. We already know. That's why there's a thing called water weight. Our body
Right.
holds water weight, right?
There you go.
So
Okay.
we would get the water bag, fill it up, and then we would do curls with the water bag and any type of exercise movement, there was that needed to be done with the water bag. Books was something else. Get a bunch of books, put it in there,
Mm-hmm.
put it in a bag or something, and use that. So at the time, you know, like I'm not a personal trainer. I don't know the science behind exercising, but the
So what was your
genius,
motivation for working out at them points? Was it stress relief?
part of it definitely was stress relief, but also too, like I said in the beginning, I always been a little skinny guy. So
So this is what I'm saying. So you if I'm putting myself in your shoes. I'm in the county. I'm facing some time. Two different cases, state, federal. If I'm working out, it's two things. I know it's a stress reliever, right? Because you got to be under some immense stress. But I'm also thinking of when I hit the compound. You see what I'm saying? I'm not, if I'm skinny, I don't want to go to the compound skinny. So in my subconscious mind, I'm gonna be working out to know I'm going to the next spot. Two, that's what I was doing anyway. You know what I'm saying? Because it's gladiator school. And I'm not going anywhere if I ain't ready for the fight. That's fighting police, fighting Spanish, fighting black, fighting Chinese, fighting the white, the Aryan nation, the dirty white boys. I'm ready to fight anybody because we in prison. So I'm gonna
right,
go ready. So that's why I would do a deck of cards like it ain't nothing. You know what I'm saying?
right. That, to be honest, that really, for me, that wasn't really the motivation because my mind wasn't there.
Mine
As
was just
far
on
as as
stress.
far as far as like, yo, I'm gonna have to like niggas gonna get at me. I really wasn't thinking about that. I was more like stress relief and I need to get right. You know. Now, once I got right, I got to the compound, right? My first compound they sent me to was Milan, Michigan, right?
Oh man,
They sent
cold.
me to my yeah, they sent me to Michigan, right? I'm from New York. I go to Michigan. Mind you, I get there. So they like, okay, we're gonna take you to your homeboys. You know, I don't know nothing about the whole
Right.
none of that politics stuff.
So you got to
in the
back up
feds.
for us, Trey. So you got sentenced. Tell the people about the BOP, the FBOP. How many months did you get?
188, which is
So how much
15
years
years
is
and 8
that?
months. That's 15 years and 8 months.
Wow. So you sat in Monroe County Jail. You sat in the county jails for 2 years, and then you got sentenced to 188 months minus the 24 you sat there, right? Or whatever the months you sat there. So you went up facing about 13 years when you left there.
Yep.
About 13 years or something, you know, with good time and the computation and stuff like that. So you caught 188 months?
188. Which is
and
15
you ain't killed
years,
nobody?
8 months. Nope. Yo, listen, and it was a conspiracy. You know how the federal conspiracy go.
Once again, I know, but they don't know.
Yeah, they don't know. So federal conspiracy.
We gotta educate them on.
So let me break down. I could break down.
Please, that's all I've been waiting for you to break this thing down.
So
Trey.
let me break down for what I went through, right? So
yes, sir.
I caught a federal conspiracy where it was conspiracy to distribute marijuana and cocaine base, right?
This is upstate New York.
Yeah, upstate Rochester, right?
Rochester, New York.
Rochester, New York. Judge Saragusa. He's known as the hangman. If you ever hear anybody talk about Saragusa, they will tell you he's the hangman, right? Famous. But anyway, so I caught the conspiracy. Not that I got caught with a wiretap or got caught selling drugs. What got me jammed up was just people coming in and testifying that I participated in certain activies. That was it.
No
There's no video. There's no video of any of this happening.
No DNA.
No, there's
no drugs.
No drugs of any
no
of this
gun.
happening. There's no gun.
No pictures.
No pictures.
No wiretaps.
No wiretaps.
Okay. Well, I'm saying that to you is because that's what happened to me. But me and you are of a different breed, brother. We went through some stuff that 90% of Americans would never go through. That's the federal system. So that's why I'm trying to pull it out of you a little more on this Flatbush Famous, so we can use this platform to not only tell people what you've been through and I've been through, but to educate the younger brothers that want to go down that road. Me and you went down to let them know what's really ahead of them. So I feel bad for I know what happened to you, but we got to kind of break it down on this Flatbush Famous. That's what we're doing.
Yeah,
we'll break it down.
So after that happened, right? They charged me. One of the things that I found out later that was kind of illegal was that they charged me in a conspiracy by myself, right? So my indictment, I'm the only person on the indictment.
Yo.
So in a conspiracy, you can't conspire by yourself.
You sure enough can't.
Right?
Sure enough
so
can't.
In my original indictment, it's just me. A couple of months later, then they added co-defendants because obviously they have to add co-defendants.
So you got superseded.
Yes, they gave a superseded.
So they gave you a superseded indictment. You got indicted by yourself. United States of New York versus you.
No, not the United. The United States versus me. Yeah,
I'm talking about the Fed case.
I thought you said the United States of New York or something like that. Yeah,
no, I'm saying that's what my indictment said. It said United States of America versus Kevin Donaldson. So I'm quite sure you said the same thing.
Yeah, right. Correct.
So you was indicted by yourself.
Yeah, in the original indictment.
Right. I was indicted by myself and I got superseded. That's why I know what happened. Same thing happened to me. So I'm trying to ask you to tell the people like what a supersede. People don't know what that means.
Right.
So you know what I'm saying? When you get superseded and stuff like that.
When they superseded with this superseded indictment, what they did was added more co-defendants, right?
There you go.
They added a few more people in the indictment, and we were set to go to trial under the one count conspiracy, right? In September 11th, 2010. Not 2010. So it was prior to the September 11th. It was a year prior to the September 11th tragedy. August of 20. That was 2000. Yeah, that was 2000. They superseded the indictment again and gave us a 13 count. Then at that point, they charged me with 2 additional counts, which was a conspiracy, a drug sale conspiracy, which was a sale I never made. It was a sale someone else made, but they tried to tie me to that, and a gun charge, which again, that was somebody else's charge, and they wanted to tie me to that.
How is this legal, right?
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. This is what they do. You know, it's the feds. They do
This
what they want.
this exactly what they do.
Right.
That's exactly what they do.
What they want.
Exactly.
So long story short, we proceeded to go to trial. Right. They wanted my cop out was 20 years. Right. So they wanted me to plead guilty to 20 years, and like I said, I didn't get caught with anything. There's no proof of any of this happened, but we offering you 20 years. This is what you get. I said, listen. I told my lawyer, listen. If I could do 20, I could do 30. I said it just like that. And he's like, okay. So we.
So what did you mean by that?
I mean, if I could do 20 years, I could do 30.
Well, what
Like
do
you
you
giving
mean
me
by
20.
that?
All right, you giving me 20 years for nothing. I might as well take my chance and do
That's
30.
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So you telling him put 12 in the box. Before I take 20 years, y'all better put 12 people in the box. I'm gonna go to trial.
Yes.
If I could do 20, I could do 30. That's what you were saying, right?
100%. 100%. 100%. I'm not pleading guilty to 20 years, and not like I couldn't see me like I didn't kill nobody. I could understand if I killed somebody and I want to plead guilty to 20 years, that's something else. But there's no proof of any of this happening, and I'm supposed to plead guilty to 20 years. That's not happening. I don't care. You could have told me 100. I would have been like, okay, let's go.
Right.
Right. So anyway, we proceeded to trial on January of 2001. Right.
Okay.
So it's me and my co-defendants, and we're going to
How
trial.
many of y'all was on? How many of y'all got super? How many people was on the case?
5.
Okay.
Right. So including myself. So basically 4 minus me. So what I said was we proceeded to trial, all of us. We all was like, we going to trial. Nobody's pleading guilty. Right?
Wow,
so,
that's good.
So we went to trial, we started trial, we picked our jury. One of the good things is, we had a good jury, right? Because there was like 3 black people on the jury, which was unheard of. So our lawyers was super hyped. They was like, oh, we never seen this before. So, they was good. Next day, trial started, right? So the first officer that testified, right? He testified to some stuff that wasn't part of the, they do this. So this is why I say, and me looking back in hindsight, I felt they did this on purpose. He testified to some stuff that wasn't part of the case, right? And my lawyer and one of the other lawyers, because it pertained to us, objected. Like,
Right.
No. Move for a mistrial. The judge granted us the mistrial.
Wow.
He granted us the mistrial. He was like, listen, he said, I'm going to grant, them 2 the mistrial, but the other 2, they wanted everybody to get the mistrial, but because it didn't affect the other 2, they said no. He just said no. These two could still go to trial because the testimony didn't affect them, but these 2, they're gonna get off the case. So the trial proceeded with the other 2 without me and my other co-defendant. Right. One of my co-defendants beat it. Right.
One of the other guys that didn't get the mistrial.
Yes, beat it.
Straight out got acquittal.
Straight out got acquittal.
They ain't re-indict him.
How they gonna re-indict him? He beat everything.
Good.
He beat it, but that's just to show you. Look, but that's just to show you that was a good jury, and I felt the prosecution forced the mistrial so we could get a new jury.
So
think about it.
I thought about it. That's why I was saying if he got re-indicted, but now I see where the fucking foul play come in at.
There you
go.
Because
if y'all got the mistrial, then y'all got re-indicted.
Of course, yeah, they retried the case. They retried the government. They wanted a new jury. They wanted a new jury. That's all it was.
I already know, and they wanted you and whoever the other person was. They really wanted y'all to. Yes. See, they play with a different set of rules, brother. And one thing I did in the years I was in there, I studied that. I studied case law. When they put the computers in there, that was it. I spent all my money just sitting on the computer. And my whole thing at the time was trying to figure out how to never get caught again.
Right.
Because I felt it was too easy for them to catch me. I'm like, wait a minute. And then I started reading cases. And I see it's easy to get caught with the feds, man. Somebody can just talk about you.
That's
2 or 3 people say your name.
That's it.
That's it.
We understand that, but the average person don't understand that. So
down a little more, than like you just talking to me how we talk on the phone, because I know the average person is not going to believe what happened to you and what happened to me and plenty of other hundreds of thousands of guys like us that was innocent and went to
Yeah,
federal prison. And
that's
I
a
wanted you to
fact.
tell your story, bro. That's why as your bro, I'm interjecting like, man, tell us what's up so we
Yep.
understand. So paint that picture for us, man. We here.
Yeah. So after that happened, right, we had the mistrial. So they wanted to retry me now, right? So they're like, okay, we're
Mm-hmm.
gonna take y'all back to trial. So my lawyer come to me and said, well, you know, they got a new plea for you. I said, what that is? I'm thinking he gonna come with 10. He's like, yo, they said 15 years, 8 months. I said, nah, I can't take that. I said, nah. I said, I will take 10. Mind you, listen to what I just said. Just think about this. I want the average person to listen. I was willing to take 10 years in prison and I didn't even get caught with nothing. Right?
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
I was willing to take because that's how the feds operate. I said, okay,
Right.
I'll take 10. Right? He's like, I don't got them doing that. I said, well, go tell them that's what I'm offering. He went, they was like, no.
So
They
they didn't
stayed
even
in my
come back in the middle, right? You see how the government play?
no,
They could have came back and
no,
said, yo, all right, how about 12, 12, 5?
no. They
All
said we
right?
want the
Because they're just
50.
taking your time. They're taking your life.
Yeah,
They're going to go home. This whole case don't mean nothing, but only means something to you because you the one got to do day for day. And you think that if you
exactly.
said 15 years, 8 months, and you're like, yo, just give me a 10 piece, why wouldn't they have just gave you the 10? What hurts for you to stay in jail another 3 to 5 years? Who is it hurt? Who did you kill? You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
That's
Yeah, so
foul, man. These people are foul, man.
they're foul. So let me tell you what made me take it, right? And it's something you tapped on earlier, right? About kids. And yo, they play, I'm gonna tell you, they play on that. They play on that with especially with the women, because they did that with most of the women that kind of like came and testified against me, falsely, of course,
Mhm.
um, during the grand jury testimony. He said, listen, mind you, my daughters at the time were 3 and 4. Yeah, 3 and 4. He said,
Mhm.
well, listen, he said, if you take the 15 years, 8 months, at least you'll be able to come home to see your kids graduate. Yo, that wasn't even in my brain. Just to show you, the man told me, if you take this, at least you will be home to see your kids graduate. I'm gonna tell you right now, that's what made me take the shit.
Because at that point, that's when you understand that life is real.
I always tell
You
people
had
like,
to
yo,
take it. If you ain't take it, you wouldn't be here right now on this thing.
and I took it, son.
That's messed up, man.
I took it. Yo, after he said that, I just was like,
So walk us through that, right? Because now when you take it, when you cop out in the feds, right? You gotta sign.
yeah,
You gotta sign. You gotta sign all your shit away, right? Once again, my brother, I'm only telling you what happened to Kevin Donaldson. I'm not telling, this is facts, what I'm talking about.
right.
You have to sign a plea. The
Yes.
lawyer will come down wherever you at, and he will come in there with that plea. It's an agreement. It's a plea
Yep.
agreement, and you have to sign that. So
Yes.
imagine sitting there, because I did it, and signing away your life, brother.
Oh my
To say,
God.
I'm going to give you 15 years and 8 months of my life, and he hands you the pen, he clicks it and hand it to you. That's when
Yes.
you know life is real. And these moments I'm talking about that you went through and I went through, this is why our perspective on life is different.
Exact. That's a fact. It's a fact.
And you ever signed away your life? Have anybody up here ever did that?
Thank you
15 years and 8 months?
for I don't even know what this was
Something you
called.
didn't
To be
even
honest.
do.
Yeah. Like there you were. Yeah, for real, because they couldn't prove it. Because my indictment, just to backtrack, right? So I was able to get, because this was the blessing for me as far as saying I'm taking it to trial. I was able to get all the grand jury testimony, right? So I know every person that came to court and
Mm-hmm.
testified at that
Mm-hmm.
grand jury. I have the paperwork. So I
Mm-hmm.
don't have, for some reason I had mailed it home, but some paperwork I don't have. Some people aren't, but I know who testified against me at the grand
Right.
jury, and I
Absolutely.
know exactly what they said. They could
Right.
never
It's
say
all
they
it's all
didn't
in the
do it.
discovery.
Yeah, they can't exactly. They could never say I never said this. I never said. I have it in
I have
black
my
and white.
discovery too. I know exactly who told on me.
Yeah, I have it in black and white. No one could ever say, "Oh, I didn't say this. I didn't say that." I have it where you went to the grand
That's
jury,
right.
and this is what you said. You
And
can't
I
tell me
have it
now.
too.
Had I not go to trial, right? Had I not go to trial, that information wouldn't have been given to me.
Right.
Just to be honest, it wouldn't have been given to me because they don't give you that type of stuff unless you go to trial.
Mhm.
So yeah, so a lot of testimony was BS. Just to be honest, if I did it, I'd be like, yo, this and nah, this shit was official.
Well, it definitely it ain't even about what you did. It's what the government can prove,
Right, exactly. And they
and they have
couldn't.
to be able to prove that without any doubt, shadow of a doubt. They when a jury is directed to give a verdict and how to give the verdict and how to hear the evidence, right? They have to make sure that when you say this person is guilty, that person's guilty without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, just if you have a little bit of a doubt, you're supposed to acquit.
Yes, absolutely. That's what. Yeah, exactly. No, 100%. 100%. That's what it's supposed to be, but that's not what it is. We know that. I mean, come
Right,
on.
because our democracy is not set up like that. So this is how you got railroaded because it ain't what you did or what I did, it's what the government could prove.
Yeah. And if they had to prove any of that stuff that happened, it didn't happen.
They couldn't prove it.
But yeah, but so let me fast forward. Yeah. So I pled guilty, ended up getting 188 months. First place they sent me, Milan, Michigan, right? Right after September 11th. So after the whole September 11th stuff happened, I'm like, oh shit, I go to Milan, Michigan. That's my first spot.
They sent you to a pen or FCI.
Nah, that was an FCI because remember they changed the classification. At that point, they changed the classification where it wasn't about how much time you did, but about the level of your drug, not your drug, the level of your criminal history.
Mm-hmm.
Because my criminal history was so like low as far as like convictions,
Right.
not and so they was like, all right, he has a low classification, so they sent me to a low.
I'm surprised you didn't go to a camp, but probably would have to have about 10
Nah,
years or
not with
less.
15. Yeah,
10
you gotta
years
go
or
with
less.
10 and less. Yeah, you gotta
Yeah,
go with 10
yeah,
and
that's
less.
why you
Not
didn't
with
go to a
15.
camp. So you went to a low.
Yeah, I went to a low. So my first low was
Gotcha.
Milan, Michigan, and that's where I started. Like, I got to the weights because they had weights, So because Milan, Michigan is old federal prison. So that's where they sent me. I was there with a lot of good dudes from Detroit, Chicago. So there it was a lot of Midwest dudes. So I'm rocking with a lot of Midwest dudes.
Indiana.
Yeah, Indiana, all
Gary,
that.
Gary,
Yep.
Gary, Indiana.
Chicago,
Yeah,
Peoria.
Peoria, Illinois. That's the guys I was with. Peoria,
Yeah,
the blood dudes and all. Wait, they got bloods all out
Kansas
there.
City.
Kansas City. Come on,
City.
man. Springfield, Missouri
Listen,
dudes. Some solid dudes out in that
Springfield.
Midwest, man. I met some
Yeah.
real good guys in the Midwest, man.
Yep, me too. Yo, so when I get there, right? So New York, right? I'm from New York. So they're like, yo, we're gonna take you to your homeboys or whatever. So I go, yo, listen, on the campaign,
You
it's
ain't got
like
no
3 New
car.
York
That's
dudes.
your car? 3 people?
That's it.
It's
Yeah,
a motorcycle.
ain't no car. Ain't no New York car. Ain't no New York car there. Yeah, ain't no New York car there. That's crazy. And when I got there, I met a homie from New York, but he was there with the Supreme
So
team.
New
but
York
he
niggas
on
was
his way
quiet
home.
at
He
that
literally
spot.
went home like maybe a week or two after
Yeah,
I
that was
got
quiet.
there. Yeah. So he left, but I forgot his name, but me and him was cool. We kicked it a little bit, and then that was the start of my journey in the federal system. So I started in Milan, Michigan, away from home. I'm not around the New York people, and them dudes over there was good. They took care of me, and I started my workout journey.
That's kind of where
there,
Tre
man.
Fit was born.
And
Then Tre Fit was kind of
that's
born.
where I really,
So now let's go on from there
to
because
be
now I
honest,
can see where Tre Fit was born.
Yeah, so I was working out a lot of dudes bigger than me, and they schooling me. They put me on, right? So they getting me working out with them, heavy ass weights and shit. So, because mind you, in the county, remember, this really was a lot of machines, and I told you, I left Monroe County like only after like 6 months after being there, and then they never took me back. They had me everywhere else. So then, like when I got to Milan, that's when I was able to get to the iron, and when I got there, like I said, I'm working out with the dudes, doing my thing. I ain't gonna lie, my physique kind of got right there because a lot of people used to tell me, like, yo, I ain't gonna lie, you got a nice little physique, blah, blah, blah. So started doing my thing there. right? So this is 20. I got there in 2001. So I put in for closer to home transfer, right? Because you
Mhm.
know, if once you over 500 miles, you can put in for a transfer to get closer to home.
Right.
So I put in for a transfer to get close to home. Then they send me to Fort Dix, right?
Jersey.
Jersey. So I get to Fort
You home
Dix.
now.
Yeah, exactly. So now
Woo.
I'm like, yeah, I'm in the Dix. Ran into a lot of homies from the bush.
East side
You
or
know what I
west
mean?
side?
Well, you know, when you first come in, you go through the west side first. But I
Yeah.
was designated for the east side.
East side. East
And
side
my
like the
brother,
projects.
yeah, my brother was on the east side, so I was glad. But
Yeah.
I had a lot of homies. We had a lot of homies on the west side. Which once I got there, everybody seen me, took care of me, made sure I was good.
No
And
doubt.
then I got shipped to the east side. So now I'm on the east side. Now the thing about me, everywhere I went, I pretty much worked out by myself. Like I just was like, I'm working out, like I'm just doing my thing. But after a few days or weeks, I always had a call because people just wanted to was gravitated and wanted to work out with me.
Right. They see your results.
Yeah, they like, yo, listen. I'm talking about everywhere I went. This is no lie. So I get to Fort Dix. I got a little car, right? So I want to tell a story about. I want to tell this story, right? Because it's significant to my progression into where I'm at today. So I get to Fort Dix. I'm working out. I'm drinking the oatmeal protein shakes before I work out, after I work out, and before I go to bed, right? So I was able to get my physique right. So I'm looking kind of diesel. So I go on a visit one day, right? And the CEO that normally work our unit was like, yo, I had to strip search. So he seen me. He's like, yo, Roach, what's up? Because that's my last name. Shout out to Roach.
No
But yeah,
doubt.
that's my last
All
name.
the roaches.
Yeah, and
Hey,
and
shout out to
he's
my producer Roach. His name Roach too.
that's who I'm talking about. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Shout out to him.
Shout out to
So
Roach. Go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, so he asked me, he said, damn, Roach, you on steroids or something? I'm like, nah, what are you talking about? All right, so he searched me. I go, right. So one day I was looking at a muscle magazine, right? Muscular Development. I got it from a Spanish kid from the Bronx. So he let me hold it to read it because he knew I was into all that, right? So I read it, right? So I'm reading it, and Dave Palumbo, which is one of the dudes that used to do articles in the magazine, he ended up doing some time in federal prison for steroids. He started an article called Prison Bodies, right?
Mm.
Started an article called Prison Bodies, and in the article, he's like, "Yo, if you in federal prison, whatever, send me, your picture and your story, right? Send me your picture and your story, blah blah blah." So, me, I had this one picture where my shit looked at right. Well, I felt looked at right at that time, and I'm like, "Damn, you know what?" Because I'm hearing so much people tell me, like, "Yo," and you already know, in prison, it's hard to impress anybody in prison. Like niggas is not impressed by nobody, right? So I said, yo, I'm gonna send my picture and my story. And I explained, how I came up with the oatmeal protein shakes and all that shit, right? And I sent it to the nigga, right? So I'm in the TV room chilling one day, and one of the homies that I know run up to me like, yo, Trey, come here. I'm like, hold up, all right, in a minute, because I'm watching whatever I'm watching. He like, nah, yo, I need you to come here right now. Yo, son, he pulled out the magazine, and I'm right there in it, son.
Dope.
Yo,
That
son,
was dope.
that was me, son. He published my joint
That was dope, man.
on everything, son. Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. It was like after that, I kind of damn it was like a celebrity in the jail because everybody,
Yeah,
dudes get
that's
the,
motivation, baby.
dudes get the magazines and shit. And they like, yo,
Yeah.
son, I saw you in the magazine. I'm like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
like, yo. So it was crazy, right? That I got public, and listen, this is a nationally certified magazine, Muscular Development. If you know what if you work at, Muscular Development. I've been reading that shit before I even,
was in it. Right.
because it was a magazine I liked. So when he had it, I was like, yo, son, let me read that.
So how did that make you feel? Check this out. So you in the feds, you in Fort Dix. There's no mirrors in there, right? So you can't really see. I mean,
nah,
they had real glass.
Yeah,
no, they had glass mirrors.
I don't know if it was real glass, but they had mirrors.
We had mirrors, but them shit ain't mirror. I ain't talking about they ain't no real mirror. I mean, they ain't glass. They ain't mirror mirrors. Y'all have mirrors?
Yo, listen, we listen. I'm gonna tell you where I first seen my physique, and I was like, oh shit, my shit looked good. It was in the TV room in Fort Dix. They have like a what they call the mirrors, like a a body mirror, like
they got one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
I
It was
forgot,
right in
but
the
you're in a
TV room.
compound. Yes, you
It
got
was
to
right
see
in the
yourself.
TV room.
Because
So
if you're in
I
the
saw,
county jail and you can't anywhere else, you can't really see yourself.
Nah, you can't really see.
You know what I'm saying? You just working out, and you just know you can see from down, like, yo, I might be getting something, but you couldn't see yourself, right?
That was the first place I really saw myself.
Yourself. Nice.
In that mirror, that same mirror. I remember it's right by the TV room. Right.
Nice.
And I took off my shirt and I was like, yo, let me see. I was like, yo, I was impressed. I'm like, damn, that's what I was like. So anyway, I did that and was able to get published. I was the first dude, in the feds to get published in that article, prison bodies. In
that was super huge right there. That was huge.
Yeah, that was 2000.
Huge.
That was the 2005 December issue, right? So I already hit everybody home like, yo, get this magazine because I'm in it. Everybody got it. So you know how the feds is. When you transfer, you can't transfer with magazines and none of that shit. So
right, but you had to mail it, right?
Man, listen, when I came home, I ain't have it. But what happened was I was able to find it online on eBay.
Oh, okay. So you actually got a copy.
I got a copy.
Yeah, so how long you was in Fort Dix before they packed you up?
2 years. So I stayed at Fort Dix for 2 years, and then I was camp status now. So they put me in for a camp, right? And I'm like, cool. I'm thinking I'm gonna go to like Jersey, like Allenwood.
Or Fort Dix. Fort Dix got a camp.
Yeah, but they never send you. They never send you to the spot.
Oh, that's crazy.
They don't do that. You gotta go because you too close.
Yeah, one of my mans came. You're right. My man came from Raybrook. I was thinking my man was at Fort Dix too. My man, Michael Barrett, Pastor Mike. They just call him Mike from Harlem, 142nd and Lenox. One of Dame Dash people. That was one of my mans in there. But he came from Raybrook. You're right, and he went to Fort Dix camp. He stayed there for 3 years. But I thought he was at Fort Dix Low and went across the street. But you saying you can't go from the spot to the spot. They won't walk across the street like that. Oh,
they ain't walking across the street. You got to go. So I remember seeing my counselor, and he like, yo, listen, you got approved for the camp, boom, boom, boom. They can't tell you where you going. He's like, where you going is far and it's cold as hell. But I already knew that was Duluth, because everybody know about Duluth.
But that's,
you know what I mean?
Damn, so that's Minnesota.
Yes, right.
So if you got closer to home, how the hell they send you back to Minnesota, bro?
Yo, listen, you heard what you just asked me? You heard what you just asked me, right?
No, you piss somebody off. Listen, you piss somebody off, bro, in the feds.
Yo, listen, you heard what you just asked me? I said the same thing. I said, yo, I just left the Midwest. What the hell?
Minnesota?
Yeah. I'm like, yo, and they send you to the word. Listen, Minnesota's like, yo, just to show you how bad. I swear to God, I was watching one of those TV cop shows, right? And in the show, they made a reference to someone going to Duluth, Minnesota, but as it being bad. I can't remember the show, but they referenced. They're like, oh yeah, they're in Duluth, Minnesota, and it was like, like a bad thing, because it's like you already know that shit is far, and that shit is cold as hell,
and it's snowing every other day.
Yo, listen. So I'm gonna break down Minnesota real quick. I don't want to, I don't want to get caught up too much in the, the prison thing, but it's part of the journey, right? It's part of
absolutely.
So, yeah, I get to Minnesota now, right? The good thing about Minnesota is, I'm not gonna lie, is that the layout was beautiful. They had a movie theater. When I used to hear that, I didn't believe it. But it wasn't really a movie theater. It was like a auditorium, but they would put the movies and the show and the stuff on the big screen, and you could just go in there and watch it.
Every Friday,
right?
Or every day?
Nah, every day. Okay. Every day, because we used to watch Prison Break in there.
But Friday was like National Movie Day.
Right.
In the feds. Friday they'll give you like a movie that you ain't supposed to. You know what I mean? Something like that. I know when I was in there, it was Fridays.
Yeah, they did have that too. They had that too. So anyway, I get to Minnesota. By the time I get to Minnesota, right, a couple of dudes I already know they're from Milan. So that's what I'm trying to say. Like, everything kind of like added up, because when I got there, I already knew dudes that I was already bidding with from Milan, Michigan, that end up getting shipped to Duluth. Right. So when I get there, though, everybody already knew that I was in the magazine. That was the crazy part. I got there, yo, son, you was in the. I'm like, yeah, But Duluth, I'm gonna tell you, that was the best part of my bid. Right. It was the best because it was the most comfortable, the most easy going. right? Even though it's far away, I feel they know nobody want to be there, but they make it so easy going that you don't mind being there. You don't mind being there, right?
So as we say in the feds, that spot is sweet. It's a sweet spot. It's just
Yo,
sweet.
put it this way: that spot couldn't be. Listen, that spot could have never been on the East Coast. They would have tore that up because dudes would have messed that up. They'd have messed that up.
They'd have jacked it off, as we say. Yeah, they'd have jacked it off.
Yeah, they'd have jacked it off. That shot was too sweet. It was too sweet.
So y'all ain't have no fence.
Nah, no fence. Motherfuckers used to come through and throw bags over the gate with the cell phones and creatine.
I was gonna say creatine, protein, Hennessy,
all that.
Casamigos now. Niggas drinking Casamigos in there.
We had all that, man. I'm gonna keep it a buck. We had all that, right? So it was sweet. So when it's time for me to transfer, right? Mind you, I was over there getting right because guess what? Again, they got weights there. So I didn't mind. They had a whole weight pound. Indoor and outdoor. You know what I'm saying? Indoor and outdoor.
Sweet.
So, sweet. So I didn't mind. So it's time for me to put in for my closer to home transfer, right? They tried to send me to Canaan camp. I turned it down. They like, yo.
So when they designated you, they do tell you where you're going, though. They do tell you where you're going. So you knew you was going to Canaan.
Yeah. So I told them.
You told me you didn't want to go.
I told them I didn't want to go. They're like, yo, you got to stay another year then. I said, okay. I didn't mind.
Wait a minute, Tre, hold up. You turned down going to Canaan, Pennsylvania. You was in Duluth, Minnesota, right?
Minnesota, yep.
So you could have came to Canaan.
Yeah.
To the camp.
Yep.
And you declined that?
I declined it.
And then so you got to do an extra year where? Minnesota?
In Minnesota. Here's the reason why I declined it. Canaan is a brand new spot. They had no weights. I'm not going nowhere where there's no weights.
You Tre Fit for real. You Tre Fit for real.
Yeah, this is my thing, right?
You're a dedicated dude, bro. You rather stay in Duluth, Minnesota than come to closer, even though Pennsylvania is cold, but to Pennsylvania. You rather stay and do another year out there. Well, that spot must have been sweet.
It was sweet. I was making money. I was in the kitchen. Look, I was in the kitchen as a cook. I was in the kitchen as a cook.
You was just selling onions, selling bell peppers. I know.
Everything. Chicken, oatmeal.
Back then was every Thursday was chicken day.
That's my hustle.
Feds, did they still do that?
No, every Friday.
Friday was chicken day?
Friday.
No, I thought Friday was Thursday.
Yeah.
Fish was Fridays.
Fish was Friday.
I'm talking that.
Yeah, but the chicken day.
Not the quarter chicken.
I think that was like on and off though.
Nah, man, is it?
Some days
I
they had
know where you was at. That's National Chicken Day in the Feds.
Because remember, you could get fish for lunch. Remember, you got fish before the lunchtime, and then you would get the chicken at night. But they varied how they did the chicken.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, some days, they kind of varied. But anyway, so boom, I'm there at Minnesota, right? So I told you I had a couple of homies that I was with from Milan, Michigan, right? So the reason why I want to tell this part of the story, because this part of the story is also significant before I keep on the journey of the the fitness, right? So like I said, they got the weights. I'm there getting busy, training dudes. One of my homies that I was in Milan, Michigan with end up coming there after me, right? It was a homie. I think he was from Chicago. Not sure if he's from Chicago or Detroit, but he's from one or the other. He gets there, right? So he said, Tre, listen, man. He said, I'm going to start a class on the stock market, right? So I'm like, word? I said, I ain't going to lie, man. I ain't really trying to know that because I ain't trying to lose no money. This is what I tell him. I look at him. He's like, Tre, I'm going to show you could get money on the stock market, whether it could go up or down. So I looked like, yo, really? I said, so, all right. I said real quick. I said, so if the market go down, there's a way I can make money. He said, yes. I said, all right. I went and took his class, right? Took his class because I need to understand that, because that to me that made no sense. If you tell an average person you could make money by the stock market going down, they're gonna feel the same way. They're gonna be like, how the hell can you make money when the price of something is going down? It just doesn't add up. So I took his class. The class he was teaching was how to trade the futures S&P 500 E-mini, right? At that time, I didn't.
I don't know nothing about it right now. So what is it? What is it again? How to trade what?
So it's the S&P 500. the futures market.
Explain that to me.
So how to trade in the future?
How to trade in the future?
All right. So in the futures market. So the futures market is almost like the forex. How everybody
Forex, right? That I know
so
about.
In the futures market, right? In the futures market, it works like this, right? What you do is all your trading is on price action, right? And price action meaning a price starting from this point and getting to this point, right? So, and literally you can make money by just doing that. You don't need to invest in a commodity, meaning a commodity is like gas, because the future market, the part of the future market also too is wheat, corn, oat, beef,
Right.
cattle, all that gold, all that is a part of the futures market, right? But with the futures market, he was teaching us was just to trade the S&P 500 E mini, which is the S&P 500 index.
Right.
Just the index. So we just traded on the price action of the index. So
Hmm.
long story short, I took the class. After I took the class, I'm not gonna lie, I became fascinated. Like I swear to God, I couldn't believe you could make money doing this. Like it just was like mind blowing. So we would do the classes, and then we end up getting a TV because they had like a TV room where that TV stayed on CNBC all day because we needed to keep track. We need to keep track of the price action of
Right.
the S&P, right? So after he gave me like the little what you call like the seed, I proceeded to do more research. Got books sent in, right? Started just reading books on it and everything, right? Listen, when I got to when I got to McKean, I didn't tell you, we didn't talk about this last time. When I got to McKean, right, I started teaching dudes in McKean and had a whole class.
Wow.
I did a class on trading the futures, right? From what I learned, right? From what I learned when I
got a couple of questions too. So the guy that taught you, was he a stockbroker that went bad?
Nah, that's the thing. He wasn't, because remember, I knew him in Duluth.
So he wasn't in prison
Michigan,
for doing the stocks and nothing like that, or anything that had it remotely close.
Nah, no. What happened was he learned it. So he did the same thing I did when I got to McKean. He learned it and went to share the information with us.
So somebody taught him.
Somebody taught him, and he taught me. And then when I got to Duluth, when I got to McKean, I taught a class.
So you got to McKean a year later?
No. We're gonna get to
how
McKean.
Long did you study? How long did you
part.
study for before you felt that you was qualified enough to give a class? Is what I'm trying to get at.
All right, that's right. You're right. That's what I'm gonna get to that. McKean was the end part. I skipped.
Oh, you skipped some parts.
Part of the journey. I skipped some part, but I wanted to talk about that part because it was like, yo, I felt, I knew enough information that I could actually teach a class.
Right. I'm trying to get at is how do you feel that confident? Did you actually do it and it worked for you? Did you start trading and it was working for you?
The thing is, no, I didn't, because I couldn't trade because I'm locked up. But listen, it's not even about the trading aspect. It's the information.
It's teaching them. It's the information about
the information. Right. I already knew with the information I knew and had that once you get this information, the next step is just about application.
Right. That's say for example, for me, just how my brain is wired, right? If I had ran into you in a spot and you was telling me that, right?
Yeah.
And I would take the information, but I don't know how real it is because you or me or him don't have a proof of concept. I don't know if it really work. That's why with stocks, I mean, the only reason I'm interjecting is because a lot of people that like myself that want to get into stocks, it's kind of hard because the same thing you said when he asked you, first thing you said was, I don't want to lose any money.
And this is why I'm glad to have conversations like this, just to show that, like, don't let that fear or that, not knowing stop you from learning and understanding, getting that understanding of it. Because I'm gonna show you real quick, right? Even though at that point I never traded a stock in my life, never. I didn't even have access to the stock market, right? I was able to teach valuable information, right?
Based on the information that you got.
Just from the information that I got and I learned.
Gotcha.
Remember, I
Gotcha.
learned it. Something that I learned. Just like, yo, listen, you got to remember, even when surgeons and all these people, lawyers and all of them go to school, they learn the information first before they apply it.
Right.
Right? A surgeon just don't go start surgeon. He
Right.
learned that information, right, through
Right.
school for years and years of school, and then from there he start the application process, right? So then you
Right.
start to apply, right?
Right.
So my thing was big educate myself. So even though he told me what he told me, I went and got books and was studying books and was doing that. Like, all right, so boom, fast forward, I ended up getting shipped to. So after my time in Duluth, I put in for a transfer. Now they want to send me to Farrington, New Jersey, right? So I go to New Jersey, go to Farrington. They had weights there, good, but I'm still paying attention to the stock market, still doing my research, still doing the stuff that I do. Right, that was 2009.
Right.
At that point, the stock market had bottomed out. The same day it bottomed out, meaning that was the lowest it went. It was March 9th, 20 no March 9th, 2009, right?
Mm-hmm.
S&P, everything bottomed out, right? So it bottomed out. That day was the day I was getting transferred to
Farrington. Oh,
Farrington.
McKean.
But guess, yeah, McKean, not McKean,
McKean.
Farrington.
Farrington. Right.
Guess how I got transferred, right? So boom, they wanted to transfer me, right? But at that point, I don't know if you remember, but your family could come pick you up and take you to the next
Yeah.
spot.
Yeah. They gave you a furlough.
Yeah, they gave me a furlough. So boom, I
Mm.
got the furlough, right? But they told me my sister couldn't take me because she wasn't a citizen. But anyway, I got on the
What?
burner. Yeah, I got on the burner. I said, yo, listen, man, meet me in Minneapolis. I didn't want her to pick me up in Duluth because they be waiting out there in Duluth to see if somebody gonna come pick you up. I said, yo, listen, come pick me up in Minneapolis, right? We're gonna drive back. I'm gonna go see my daughters, and all that. My sister drove from North Carolina, son, to
Wow.
friggin' Minnesota to come pick me up. And we drove from Minnesota, stopped in Buffalo, saw my daughters in them, right?
Right.
Chilled with them, ate, had time to chill with them, eat. We went to the restaurant, eating at Applebee's, chill. Boom. We shot down here to New York.
Yeah.
Shot down to New York. I was able to come. I stayed at my sister's crib.
So she drove the whole way.
She drove the whole way.
Gangster.
Yo, look,
Shout out to sister,
gangster.
man.
Word.
Shout out to
telling,
sister.
Yo, listen. Yo, you
sister?
know what dudes?
What's sister name? Which one?
Ramona.
I know
Ramona had the party
too.
the other day.
Yeah, I know Ramona. Shout out to Ramona. That's people like you. Listen, I don't know what camera I'm on, but Ramona, people like you, it will make us who we are. I salute you for doing that. I wish it was more women like you, more sisters like you, Ramona. For real. Go ahead.
So she came through, picked me up, right? So we get down here to New York. I stayed at my sister's crib. I was able to eat food and chill, took pictures. My man Mark, the one I told you that got the restaurant Exquisite,
Right.
came and picked me up. So he come pick me up, right? Hit me off with some bread, and then he drove me. He was taking me around to show me, the new restaurants that he had at the time, because he only had the one on Flatbush and Glenwood at the time. So he took me.
Exquisite. Shout out to Exquisite, man.
Shout out to Exquisite. So
yeah, it's on Flatbush and like 28th Street over there.
Flatbush and Glenwood. Flatbush and Glenwood.
Flatbush and Glenwood. Exquisite. Yeah, they food good. Check them out too.
Yeah.
Exquisite.
So boom. So he come pick me up. So we go to the hood, right? So we go to the hood and we pass on East 18th Church because he had a restaurant there too. He had one right there on East 18th Church at the time. So I called Duchesne. So I called Du on the phone.
So my man Du.
I said, yo, Du, what up? He's like, yo, son, what up? I said, yo, I'm on East 18th Church. He's like, man, get out of here. I said, yo, word of mother. So Du come down. And Du come through, and I see Du, and we kicking it. You're like, oh shit, son, what up? I was able to see a few people. It's like a little, because I didn't have long, because I had to make it to the spot.
Right.
I had to make it to the spot by like I think 12 o'clock, and this was early morning.
Which one you was going to again?
Farrington,
New Jersey.
Yeah, Jersey. So, I was able to see a few people, talk to Du. We kicked it. I had to hit back on the road. My sister then dropped me off in Philly, because Philly was the last leg. So from Philly, I had to take bus from Philly to Farrington, right? And that's what I did. I wasn't able to get some kicks. I was trying to get some kicks to, go back, but the stores then wasn't open around that time, so I wasn't able to go. But that was my journey from Minnesota to Farrington, man. I was able to get a furlough.
That was a blessing.
And look, that's 2 days. They gave me 48
that was
hours.
A blessing.
Was it a blessing?
You know how
Come
they do
on,
you,
man.
right?
You don't
They
get
do,
that.
because they do you like this. Let me tell you how they do you. They give you the furlough, and they tell you if whatever comes first, the furlough or the bus. That's how they do you.
Right.
And some dudes be on the furlough, but the bus come first, and they don't even they miss the whole furlough. So
They missed the whole
that's why I'm
furlough.
saying your story is so amazing, but I wanted to tap into stuff like that, how important things like that is, and what
Yeah,
you went
man.
through. You know what I mean? The
Yep.
little things.
Yep. So after 9.5 joints, that was my first free 2 days, And I was able
Nice.
to
God
see
is good.
family. I was able to see family. I was able to see my kids and chill with
God
them.
is good, brother.
Man, listen, man, that was the best thing that happened for me, during that bid. So I get to Farrington, like I said, I'm still working out. I got dudes working out with me there. Um, I stood there for a little bit. Then I transferred to MCC on the cadre because I heard they had
Ah,
weights there too. I heard they had weights there too, but at that time they took it out. So I got there.
that's
It's
a
like,
shithole.
yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Shithole.
Yeah. So it's like being back in the county, right? Because you're in the
Yeah.
building, the movements is restricted and all that. So what I did was I put in for the drug program, even though I wasn't eligible.
Where was that in Pennsylvania? It was at the one in there used to be a women's prison.
No, I went to McKean.
Danbury. The
No, no, no.
Danbury. Danbury got a drug program too.
I went to McKean. I went to McKean.
Oh, they
So they
send you to
shipped me.
McKean to the drug program?
Yeah, yeah.
Nice. Yeah,
So they
McKean
shipped
got
me.
one too.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
they shipped me to McKean. I was able to go to McKean, and
She went back to Pennsylvania.
yeah, I went back. No, I was never in Pennsylvania. Remember, I
Oh,
never
you
went
didn't
to
go to
PA.
Canaan. You didn't go to Canaan.
Nah, I never was. I never made the PA. So I did go. I go there. You know who was there at the time? Wesley Snipes. I was there with Wesley Snipes. They was there.
Teaching yoga.
Yeah, yeah.
I
He was doing
know.
yoga. Yeah, he was teaching
When I
yoga.
was in there, he was doing yoga.
Yeah, yeah. So I
Yeah.
was able to. I went there, and that's where I taught the class on the futures. Right, and I'm gonna tell you, my class was packed. Class was
Nice.
packed, son. Class was packed. I'm mad because I don't have the pamphlet that I had that I was teaching. I have the material that I used, but I made a whole pamphlet that I gave to everybody that I was teaching. Right. So
So
boom.
fast forward, you start to come home after that too, right?
Right. So I came home from there. So I remember I told you I was able to get the I was able to get immediate release because of the when they changed the
2 point reduction
yeah, when they gave the 2 point reduction,
with
they changed
Trump.
the crack law. Nah, nah, not with Trump. I gotta wait
Who?
before Trump. Obama.
Oh,
Yeah,
Obama
so
did it. Okay. Now I know it was
yeah,
one of the presidents. So when
the fair,
Obama
the
did the
fair,
first 2 point, the
yeah, the
fair,
first
yeah,
the Fair Sentencing Act. So with the Fair Sentencing Act, when it went to effect on November 1st, I was able to get released that same day.
yeah, kicked you
Right,
out the door.
they kicked me out the door because my time was well overserved after that was implemented. And 2011, November 1st, right, and from there, that's when the journey basically started as far as getting into the whole fitness thing. I
So
started
you come
working at my.
home now. You're fresh on the street. So how do you go about getting a job? Like, what was your
Yeah, I,
mindset at
I
the
was about to,
time?
I'm about to tell you, my homeboy Mark, the one I told you just hit, that picked me up when I was on the furlough.
Right.
He already told me as soon as you come home, I got you. You got a job. So that same week I got home, I started working at his restaurant, right?
Wow. Shout
The
out to
one on the
Mark, man.
yeah,
Solid.
yeah, the one that's on
Salute.
Prospect, the one that's on Prospect. So you already know PO was happy about that. Like, oh, this guy got a job already. We ain't got to be on his back. So I started working there. While I'm working there, though, I'm studying for my personal trainer certification because you already know that's the lane that I want to go.
Hmm.
So long story short, once I got up enough money, this was like January. So you told me I came on November, December, January. 2 months later, I signed up for my personal certification, which was through NASM,
Hmm.
NASM, National Academy of Sports Medicine, and the certification cost 800, right? So I had about a G in my account, right? Because I opened up my bank account, did all. I had about a G, and I'm like, damn, I'm gonna spend this G for this, but I already knew it was what I want to do. So I spent the G off the rip, like, all right, boom. Yo, do you know, like 2 or 3 days later, child support seized my account. Child support seized my account because yo, when you lock, your child support still moves. They don't stop it.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So while I was locked, my baby moms then put me on child support. So they would send letters like, but you locked. I can't pay child support while I'm locked. So when I got out, I had a big ass build, right?
When you was in there,
Yeah,
did you get served? So somebody came up to the prison and served you?
Me, did the DNA, all that. Yeah, yeah. They served me when I was locked. So after that, right? They served me. They seized the account. I was mad, but I was so happy because it's like, imagine I hesitated, right? And not, I looked at the price and not looked at the importance of it. I looked at the importance more than the price. I was like, oh, this 800, I'm only gonna have two, but I know how important this is because
Right.
it's a part of my journey, and I paid for that shit, man. And I got my material and I started studying. I studied for about 2 months before I took the test because I was already doing a lot of studying up top, and I took the test on April
Right.
9th of 2012, right? Took the test, passed. Before I even passed, right, I was already going on interviews to get hired. Yeah, to gyms. They was all over. I was going on Craigslist, and then it was like, oh, personal training. So I went on this one interview, right? So with New York Sports Club, I wanted to, for some reason I was like, yo, I picked Park Avenue, right? So I saw a gym on 23rd and Park. I'm like, yo,
Right.
that's where the money at. And they called me in for an interview. So I go on the interview. It's a guy named Frank. He interviewed me, and I told him I wasn't certified yet, but I was like, yo, you can hire me now, and then I get certified. He's like, well, I don't want to do that. I want to wait for you to get the certification. If you get the certification, he said, when are you gonna take the test? I was like, in 2 weeks. Mind you, this was March of 2012, so about 10 years ago, around this time was when I was going on interviews. He said, okay, if you pass, um, reach back out to me with your certification,
Right.
and I'll hire you. So I took the test, I passed. So I went back. He was like, okay, you got it. And my fitness journey started at
Wow.
that gym. 23rd and Park, New York Sports Club, man. I became like I was a
Well, at
professional
least you
trainer.
took the risk and the challenge of stepping outside of your comfort zone and even stepping outside of your neighborhood to go pursue your dreams, man. So stuff like that is like key to me, because that's the risk taker. Those are guys that's going to prosper. The guys that's like Nike, just do it.
Just do it.
And the guys is the other guys, they need to be have all the information before they make a move, right? And then some guys just don't never make the move. It's everybody else's fault, right? They play the victim. There's only three type of men. You know what I'm saying? There is no other type when it comes to business. So the fact that you said like Nike, just do it. That's why you was able to catapult yourself and secure a future for yourself. Had you been waiting for more information, you'd be waiting forever because you're never gonna have all the information. You know what I'm saying? The only way to get started is to get started. You know what I mean? So when you jumped out there and did that, that's the stuff. That's the risk taker. That's the entrepreneur. You know what I'm saying? That's inside of you, man.
Yeah, man. So let me talk about that journey. So I got
You started
there.
your brand. That's when you started your brand.
No, I didn't even start the brand yet, but the brand started
Gotcha.
there. But the brand did
Right.
start there.
Gotcha.
Did start there. So I'm a new trainer. I meet a lot of good dudes there. One of the dudes who I met there, he was another dude that been up top. He did like 10 joints up top. He became a trainer. He was good. But he was making like over 100K there. He was making like $120. He was making like $120 a year there. He was able to, kind of transition. Me and him became cool. Got another guy who I became cool with. So I was cool with like all the workers there, and that's where my journey started, man. And I loved it. And to this day, that's the best place that I ever worked.
So now you got two things going on. So I want to know, how did you start to merge the two? So now you got the fitness and you got the finance, correct?
Yes, correct. Yeah, right. So I'm gonna get into that. I'm gonna get into all that. Get into all that. So boom. So I'm there training and shit. So one day I saw my homie that I just told you about that was up top. I saw him with some bands, right? Training one of his clients. So I'm like, yo, listen, man, I want to know how to use that, man. He like, yo, son, you have to learn on your own or whatever, right? He said it like that. So I said, cool. So I went and got some bands, started training my clients with it and all that. And the birth of tube training really started there.
Right then.
But it wasn't a thing at that point. I want to get to that. It wasn't a thing at that point. It was just something I was doing with clients. And it was one of my clients because she used to always say, yo, Tre, we always doing the same stuff over and over. I want to do something new. So I started incorporating the bands with her, right? And one day I was training her, and she was doing like single leg deadlifts, and we had to switch from one leg to the next. So my brain was like, you know what? That don't make, you know what? I'm just gonna get another set of bands and hook it up, so that way she could just put both of them on her legs, and then
Right.
when she gotta go from one leg, she could just go straight to the next. She don't have to unstrap, right? And that's where the two band concept came in. That's when the two bands concept started, right? So I used to train her like that. Like again, it wasn't a thing at the time. I didn't. It was like I didn't wasn't even thinking of it of being a thing.
Right.
So I was just doing that training, primarily her with those, right? So now let's get to part of the finance, the trading part, because this is significant too. So remember my homie I just told you about that had the bands,
Right.
right? And
Right.
I got it. So one day, me and him in the break room chilling, and I got a video of this where one of my homeboys interviewed him and he talked about this, right? So one day, me and him in the break room, and we kind of was talking about bread and all that. And I mentioned to him like, yo, you know, I know about the futures and shit and blah blah blah. So he like, word. I said, yeah, man, I've been, you know, I know about that shit. At that point, again, I never traded anything.
Right.
So he was like, yo, son. He said, yo, let's open up an account. I said, word. I said, yeah. So I was like, you know what? Because a lot from some of the information I had got from my boy from Detroit or wherever he was from again, I can't remember. He said use a brokerage discount firm
Right.
from
So what
Chicago.
exactly is that?
All right,
A
so it's
brokerage
a
discount firm.
all right. So a brokerage discount firm is you could trade on a discount because if you use the majors, they're gonna charge you. You got to have a certain amount of money in your account because I think at that
Mm-hmm.
time it was like 25,000. You couldn't trade unless you had $25,000 liquid in an account.
Mm-hmm.
So the discount brokerage firm we used, minimum we needed was 3,000.
Mm.
So what we did was we formed the LLC, TNH Holdings. That was the name of the company. We literally formed the LLC and opened up the account under that LLC, right?
Right.
So we opened up the account, right? So mind you, first time ever. I understand the concept. We got the app on our phones, right? So our primary was trading through the phone while we was actually training clients, which was no good. But anyway, that first week, I'm not gonna lie to you, we made $1,000.
Wow.
The
First week
very
out the
first,
gate.
the first week, yo, he was so hyped he couldn't even believe it. He like, what? Because the way how the futures work is this, right? Like literally, you could be up three, four, $500 in seconds, in minutes. I'm talking about listen, literally in fucking minutes. So what
Well,
I
I
would
gotta
do is,
get you offline so you could teach me how to do that then.
yo, look. So look, I would literally put a position in. Right, I might go train my client, but I'm paying attention to the phone, and I'm up like, okay, I'm up 500. I will close the position, and then that's it. All right, we done for the day. Made 500. That's it. We
So
good.
pretty much you can fold like if you saw that you made the 500 within whatever hours you can stop trading right there and then that 500 because if you keep it going and it go
Yes,
down you
yes,
lose or why would
yes,
you say I'm good
yes.
for the day?
Exactly, exactly,
Gotcha.
exactly. So when it
Gotcha. So it
yes, so when it comes
fluctuates.
to trading, right, you have to have a strategy, right? You can't just be like, all right, I'm just gonna let this thing ride out. You have to have points where you're like, okay, I'm gonna get in here. So say for instance, you like, I'm gonna get in at $1. If this thing go to 150, I'm gonna sell when it get to 150. You know, which would be 50, which would be
Gotcha.
50%, right? So part of this trading strategy is knowing your entry and your exits, right? It's a big,
Right.
big part.
Right.
So that's what I was doing. But anyway, back to the story. So unfortunately, we couldn't really manage the account properly because during the trading hours we were working.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that kind of
Mm-hmm.
messed us up was that, you know, he wanted to start trading himself. Like, yo, I want to start putting in positions, and I would let him. And I remember one time I'm home, I'm on the computer watching the trade. He got a lot. He has a trade up that he did, and I'm watching it,
Mm-hmm.
watching it. It's about to be closed, right? The market about to close. So I'm like, this trade is going bad, so I'm gonna exit the trade. I exit the trade on my end. So he called me like, yo, why you did that? I'm like, yo, you don't see that that trade was bad? That trade was going nowhere. We was about to lose more, which it did end up friggin' going down even more. Remember, I know more than him,
Right.
and he was, and then after he was so acting so, like mad about it, I was like, nah, I don't. This can't gonna work because remember, if we're doing this, there's not supposed to be no emotion. That's the problem with a lot of people when it comes to like investing and trading. You can't have no emotion about it, right? If you lose a trade, you just got to take the L and suck it up. Like, yo, I just lost. All right, boom. What's next? You
Right.
can't go
Right.
in like,
Absolutely.
oh my god. Huh. And another thing too, don't trade or invest with money that you need. Like, if you need to pay your rent, no, don't use that.
That's probably my number one rule, and that's probably why over my years I haven't been. I mean, I have some people that are really successful that have been trying to get me into this that
Right.
are rich, and I just go by the feel, and I just haven't
Yeah. No.
felt it
Listen.
yet. And I was locked up with a guy too that was the same way. His name was, we used to call him Wall Street in there. Like this guy was in there for. I mean, this guy
Right.
is nice. Like that, one thing about the feds, you would rub shoulders with some very interesting people. And what I noticed about in the feds, you can't judge a person by how they
Nah.
look.
Hell no.
You know what I'm saying? In life, period, you shouldn't judge a person by how they look. But in the feds, in the state, you probably can judge a person a little more by how they look in the
Yeah.
state. But in the feds, you can't judge nobody by how they look. You know what I'm saying? I done been with I was with them guys that try to bomb the temple in
Oh
Jersey, the
yeah.
Dominican and
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
other
I heard about that story.
Oh, right. Listen, I was with them, right? They had them in the box. I'm not going to change stories, but they came out the box and some guys tried to rob them, some blood guys, right? In the cell next to me. And I'm watching the whole shit play out, just kind of laughing. Them two little fucking bomber guys beat the shit out this dude, beat him out the cell
Yeah.
bloody, and was banging his head on the ground. And as he was banging his head, all they kept saying is, Allah Akbar, don't fuck with us. So this is stuff I've
Mm-hmm.
seen with these fucking
Right.
eyes, you know. So that's why I never really been comfortable with the trading thing, because I think it's more of a feel, and people try to, like you said, take money that you need and risk it on the stock market as a get
Yep.
rich quick scheme, and it's
It's
really
not.
not. It's not a get rich
No.
quick scheme. And even if it's a come up, sometimes you got to come up, but it's not a stay up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's why I tell guys, but it ain't a stay up. When you come up, you got to switch the
There
pivot to
you go.
something else.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Exactly. Right. So that's what I've been saying all the time. So you go into that. So we made a little bread. We end up liquidating the account because we knew we couldn't manage it. We didn't have time to. We were working. The hours that we need to be paying attention to the market, watching CNBC and doing all this stuff, we're working. So we end up liquidating the account. But the beauty of that whole situation was we was able to get our feet wet and see for real. Like wasn't no
Right,
play stuff.
right,
We wasn't doing no paper trading.
right,
I don't have any like I don't personally believe in paper trading. You could use it to learn how to trade, but as far as strategy and all that, you can't because when you paper trade, right, what they do is they give you 100,000 to use, right? You're gonna use that 100,000. You're gonna be like, oh yeah, I did this, I did that, but it's nothing like when you use your real money. Real money is different because how you feel about the money is gonna dictate the action you make with the money.
Mm. But once again, you should have a feeling
Yeah,
if
no,
you're supposed to
listen,
be
absolutely. I understand that.
emotionless.
Listen, let me tell you. I don't looked at, and I'm keeping it a buck. Yo, listen, I've done seen my account drop 2,000 in a day, 2,000, 2,500. And then I'm like, okay, all right, take no action. I'm talking about 2,000 red in a day. We're not talking in a day.
Right.
And I'm like, yo, it is what it is. Yo, the market down today. That's it.
You know what it sounds
But
like to me, Trey?
mhm,
You know what it sounds like to me, and this is just me. You know, I'm a little weird, but it sounds like a one big fucking crap game, like a dice game. That's what this shit sound like to me.
Not really.
You can hit your point. You can't hit your point. I think so because you can't control it. Like it's not tangible to a sense where I can control. That's why I don't trade. I don't fuck around because I could stop it.
Listen, here's the thing, right?
But you can't stop it.
That's why it's all psychological. It's a
there you go.
Just
there you go. It's all psychological. You're right. Now you're talking about language.
It's a temporary loss, just like the gains. It's temporary.
So
I done been up 2,000.
It takes a certain person, but it takes a certain person to go on an emotional roller coaster with money. Most people don't want to go through that. How you put the phone down and know people going. Some people lose their mind when they lose $2,000.
Again, this is why we got to talk about this. It's all about your psychology.
Yes, sir.
Money. If you view money, if you view money and losing it is going to make you emotional, right? To the point where you're going to lose your mind. Yes, I agree. You shouldn't be involved in it.
Right.
And I feel as a person I feel like there shouldn't be no emotion behind money. This is why we have a lot of the problems we have now. This is why people steal. This is why people steal and people rob,
kill,
all that, and people kill because they got emotions attached to money, right? Money is something that's intangible. It's not connected to you, right? So it really shouldn't affect you emotionally.
Correct.
It shouldn't, but it does with a lot of people, right?
Why is that?
Because listen, again, it's all on how you view money. If you view money like something like, oh, I gotta have it, or we all need it. Don't get it twisted. We all need it. We all need it to take care of our bills and take care of everything. But when you get to the point where you look at it as more like something beyond what it is, yeah, you're gonna be emotional. You lose $2,000, you're gonna be fucking mad as hell. Like I'm gonna tell you, like if I lose $2,000 on the street, like I'm walking down, I got $2,000 cash and I lose it. Yeah, I'll be mad. But at the end of the day, my next thought is, okay, what I'm gonna do to get it back.
Right.
Not that it's the end of the world.
Yeah, I think it's all on what you can live with, and that's why I said to me, if I book a ticket and I say I'm going to Vegas, me and you going to Vegas, and we're going. I'm gonna take some. You might say, hey, Kevin, I'm gonna take 5,000 with me. I'm saying, shit, I'm gonna take 5,000. I'm gonna go down there. In my mind, subconsciously, I know I can win or lose. Now I'm hoping I win,
right?
But in my mind, I can really come back without this $5,000.
There you go, and that's the mindset you're supposed to have.
Right, but when the stock is a little harder because at least I actually took the money to Vegas. I actually fucking lost it. I felt, you know what I'm saying? I lost it. I had it wasn't a click of a mouse or a phone, and I just checked shit down. It's up. That's just my personal opinion with the stock market. Is not really tangible enough for me because I can't control the landslide. Just like I can't control the upside. There's an upside and a downside.
Yeah. So let me ask you this question real quick then. I'm glad you said that, right? So if you go to Vegas, right? If you go to Vegas, you have a chance of coming back with zero, right?
Yes, sir.
I could tell you one thing, right? Say you took that $5,000, you bought $5,000 worth of stock in Apple. That shit ain't going to zero.
No, so what you're saying, I could always get my 5,000 back.
I could tell you, listen, I could
guarantee you. If worst case scenario, I can at least get my $5,000 back, right?
Thank you. Or lose, or lose a little bit off of it if you pick the wrong stock. But I could guarantee you this.
Right.
And I'm guaranteeing you this.
Right.
That shit ain't going to zero.
All right. Let me ask you this then. I'm going to guarantee you this. How the fuck can I get rich doing that? How can I get rich gambling?
It's not gambling. So look.
It is.
No. See, it's all on your
What's the difference between that and going to Vegas? Right. What's the difference between going to Vegas to lose or putting it in and losing on my phone?
Listen to me. Listen. Kev, you just got to listen, right? Just be objective.
Trying,
listen, man. Right? Just listen, right?
Everybody trying to convince me to do it. So I'm hoping.
No, I'm not. I don't want to convince you. Listen,
I want somebody to convince me.
No, listen. I don't want to convince nobody to do something that they don't want to do. Right?
No, I want to do it.
I'm just showing you the other side.
I want to do it.
I'm just showing you the other side of how it is, right? So when people tell me
that about knowledge of it to do it, I want to do it.
Right. So look, when people tell me about that, right? So listen, I could literally on the back end show you stocks that I bought that went up 500%, 300%, 200%. Right. That I bought and I sold at 500% and I sold at 300%, right? I can show you.
Can you show me all the ones you lost?
I can show you the ones I lost too.
Which one is it? More losses or wins?
It's more wins than losses. I can tell you that. Okay. Because what happens is I cut my losses. So if I see a trade is not going too,
you just jump off it.
I'm like, all right, this shit ain't working. I cut it. Boom.
Yeah, see, that's when you would have to teach me, and then I think I would probably be. I want to do it then. If you taught me how to do it, how to cut, how to jump out and shit, then that's all I really need to know. But it's still a gamble to me.
I mean, again, the reason why some people look at it as gambling, some people do, because they look at it like, oh, you don't know. But this is why it's not considered gambling. If you talk to like Warren Buffett and all these persons that became wealthy, through trading and investing in the stock market, is because what happens is what you look for companies that are profitable, companies that are growing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it could go either way though. There's a time, because remember, the market is not really predictable, meaning that like right now the market has been dropping for the last 2 months. In January, the market been dropping, right?
Right.
So it's not guaranteed you're gonna be profitable. But here's the number one thing, right? That all major wealthy investors do. When the market drop, they buy.
All the wealthy investors.
When the market is dropping, meaning like right now.
But we're not wealthy. For 2 months. That might be how I pay. That might be how I live.
Listen. But we had this conversation a second ago. We said if it's money, no. Remember, we had this conversation.
I can't afford that.
Listen, we had this conversation a second ago. We said if it's money that you need,
right,
to pay your bills and all that,
right,
you don't need to be doing. Listen, the only money you're gonna use.
A lot of people shouldn't do it.
Exactly. The only money you're gonna use, right? Just listen. I always make this clear when I talk to people about this. The only money you're gonna use is money you don't need for at least a year, or you don't even need.
Right.
So think about
this. At some point, Trey, I have to make money doing something else, and then put it in the stock market. Put some of it that I can afford to lose in the stock market. I want to invest. I want to invest.
Invest, right? Invest. No, listen, I agree.
Right.
I agree with that 100%.
Right.
I mean, I agree with that. I'm not.
But some people think they can pick up the newspaper, start looking for NASDAQ, blue chips, pennies, pink slips, and start trying to trade and think that you're going to start from that and blow. I differ.
First of all, you can't.
You got to have money to invest. You got money to invest.
You have to have the money.
Right.
If you don't got. If you don't have the money to do it, then don't do it. But what I always tell people, and this is something that happened with me, you might not have the money right now to invest, but at least learn it.
Right. I want you to teach me. You know that.
Yeah.
Right.
At least learn it, right? Because listen, I said this again. You never know. You might come up on some bread, right?
Right.
You might come up with some bread. And then next thing you know, you're like, damn, what I'm going to do with this bread? Imagine you know this information. I can tell you right now. I had $1 million like sitting liquid right now. I already know what I'm going to do. That million, I could get. Listen, I'm not just saying this. That million is definitely going to turn to 10 million.
Right.
But it's definitely going to 10x. It's definitely going to 10x.
When you say Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger and Elon Musk and Jeff, you can name all those wealthy guys you just named.
Yeah, Peter Lynch, all of them.
That's not what they did to get rich. They got rich and then the stock market made them wealthy. You see what I'm saying? That's the difference. No. I don't have money to waste. If I had $1 million cash, then I would be rich too. But we all don't have $1 million cash.
No, but you got to think about.
That's why I look at the stock market as an investment. It's an investment.
It is. No, it is.
And investments, you don't always win.
No, but listen. No, Warren Buff started investing in the stock market since he was like 10 years old. No, Warren Buff got rich off the stock market.
Right, but his father, Warren got that information from his father. His father was, I know the whole story. His father worked with his hands. His father, so what I'm saying is he didn't have, Warren was okay already. Warren didn't have to go out and put a gun in somebody's mouth to go feed his kids. No. Right, but that's the walk of life I'm from, right? That's where I grew up at. So we finally figured out some information, but at the end of the day, I don't look at the stock market as a, even if it's a come up, it won't be a stay up for me. I'm a fuck with it heavy, and I'm a fuck with you on it. I just don't understand it.
It depends, right? So, all right. So people that have like 401k accounts, right?
401k, yeah.
Yeah, people that got 401k accounts, right?
Yeah. I had when I liquidated it.
Right. So a lot of people that get 401k accounts and all that, right? It's tied to some sort of investment instrument, right?
Right.
Tied to some form of investment instrument, right? And say for instance that investment instrument give you 8 to 10% interest
Right.
on your money year over year. What happens is the money starts to compound. I'm sure you know about Rule 72, compounding, right?
I know about comma. I don't know the numbers of it, but I know it's Rule 7. So Rule 72,
Yeah, that's compounding, right? That's the rate of
compound
compound.
interest. Compound
Yes, that's the rate
interest.
of
Correct.
compound interest, right?
That's what I know
So,
it as.
right, and I put it in the book, put the whole breakdown in the book, right? So, say someone invested $5,000 at age 20, right? And then they took 500 a month, invested it for the next, I want to say 10, 15 years or whatever. And then they didn't do anything, right? They didn't do anything. They just left the money there to sit. They just left it there. They didn't add any more money to it.
Mm-hmm.
With the rate of interest year over year, it would be at $500,000, right? So now,
Right.
the reason why I'm
Nice.
bringing this point up, the reason why I'm bringing up this the point is, right? If you have a portfolio of stocks, right? And even worst case in not even worst case scenario, let me say best case scenario, and you're getting 8% year over year, how do you lose?
No, you don't lose. You don't lose.
Thank you.
Yeah, you
Thank you.
don't lose.
Thank you. You don't
Can't
lose,
lose in that
right?
one.
So,
Right.
thank you. So,
That's a
with the
smart.
stock
That's a
market,
smart, sound investment.
right? So, with the
Right.
stock market, that's basically where it's at,
Right.
right? Yes, you could get some losers, but say for instance you don't want to lose. Say you don't want to lose. You're like, fuck that trade. I ain't trying to
So
lose.
that's when you
You know
go
what you could
invest in
do?
the big companies, the bigger ones.
No, no, fuck it. Fuck a company. Invest in the S&P 500 index.
Yo, so this is what you got to
That's
do.
it. That's all you
I
have to
got the
do, and you
book.
don't have to
So
touch.
I'm gonna
Listen,
read.
you
I'm
don't
gonna
have to
read the
touch
book. I
nothing.
got the
You
book.
don't got to trade nothing. You just put your money on that, right? Meaning you
I'm gonna
buy
read the
that,
book.
and then you, and then look, you buy that, and you let that shit sit because historically, and this is history. We can't dispute this. Historically, the S&P
Right.
have been given over a rate of return between 8 and 12% every year.
That's a good
Every year.
sound stock.
Last year,
That's a good one.
it was at I forgot. Last year it was like 12. Last year it was like 12 because the pandemic ran the shit up.
Right.
Last year it was like 12%. So historically, you get 8 to 12% year over year. How are you losing?
Yeah.
So when people
So we
say
got to
like,
get you to
when
teach
people
us.
say, yeah, when people say like, yo, nah, I'm gonna lose, or it's like gambling. No, there's there's a bunch of different sides. One thing about the market, there's so much different aspects to trade or
Yeah.
invest. It depends on what you want to do. You could trade, you could invest. 500 index buy the 500 S&P index, and you let that money just sit. You don't got to
Yeah,
do nothing.
that's the one I like. That's the one I need you to put me on to.
Yeah,
I ain't doing all the other stuff.
yeah,
My emotions too bad for that. I don't want to go
yeah.
up and down all day
Exactly,
long.
exactly.
I got a lot of shit going on. That's the last thing I
Yeah,
need is some
exactly.
more
And so
stuff on
look,
my
and
phone.
then look, you do that. Look, you do that. Year over year, it's going to gain 8 to 12%.
So
Depending on
that's what
how
you mean. You got to put me on.
depending on what the year is. Yeah, I got you. So
Yeah, put me
that's
on.
when it comes to like investing and dealing with the stock market. There's this.
Yeah.
I always say this,
That's
and
what I'm
this is
saying. I'm
my
glad
theory.
you did that though. I'm glad you showed me the difference because you understand what I was saying about the trading side,
Yes,
the
right.
emotional. So you
Yes,
clarified that, and then you see what I'm saying about the investment side. Now I like the investment side because it's more of a
yes,
sound investment. But with
yes.
that trading, I don't think I'm built for that. Like I don't
Yo,
think I'm.
listen.
You know what I
Let
mean?
me
Me
tell you.
personally.
Right. Let me tell you. Trading. Remember, I was doing the S&P 500 E-mini. I'm gonna tell you, like, it will have you going crazy. That's why I'm
They ain't
not
want me
trade.
going crazy.
Look. That's why I'm not trading that right now, currently,
Duh.
because it's too
Yeah.
much.
I ain't.
It's too much. Like you be up, it's like a high and then a low. And you're like, damn, I was just up 500. Now I'm down 300. What the fuck? Even though
So you got to tell us more about the book, man. I want you to plug the book, bro. Because
okay,
I read a couple of chapters. I got to finish the book, so I want you to plug the book and plug everything you got going on, so we can get these people the right information. Fitness and finance, Tre Fit. Where can we find the book at?
fitness and finance. You can find it on Amazon. You can find it on eBay. If you get it on eBay, I could mail it to you directly, signed copies. So I prefer you go to eBay and get it, so I can at least sign it and send it to you. Um, about the book, right? So I'm gonna tell you why I wrote the book in the beginning, right? Why I
Locked
wrote
up? You wrote it in the
no,
streets.
I wrote it
Okay, got
recently.
you.
I wrote it,
Tell us
yeah, I
about
wrote
it.
it, yeah, in 20, yeah, I wrote it in 2021. Um, I came up with the idea because I noticed that there was a lack of information in our community when it comes to both fitness and finance, right? And I would talk to clients and I would talk to people about, so, what do you know about, certain things about health, right? They don't know. Some people don't know the difference between carbohydrates, proteins, the importance of exercise. So, as a fitness professional, my job is to share
Right.
information, right? So, I would share that information definitely with my clients, but even people that weren't my clients, right? And so when it came to finance, it was like the same thing. I would talk to people, and people did not know about, you know, basic investments like, you know, having a IRA account or, you know, the importance of having credit. And it was a lot of things that I noticed that was like that a lot of people didn't have. Like we don't have that balance with both fitness and
Right, right.
finance. I'm talking about as a whole in our life, right? As a whole. So I was like, you know what? I think that's a perfect opportunity to like bridge the two together because remember, health is wealth, right? So if you're healthy, the wealth
Yeah.
will come
Yeah.
right
If you're
behind
healthy,
it,
you're wealthy.
right? And yeah, so I wrote the book and I talked about the importance of, you know, eating right, portion control, exercise, and I just wanted to share that information. And then when it came to the finance part, I wanted to share the information too, because like I said, I started
Right.
trading, right? But I didn't really indulge in the trading aspect of what
Right.
I do. But I just wanted to show the importance of,
The both of them. Yeah.
maintaining
Being
your
that balance of fitness and finance.
in
That was
yeah,
dope that you
maintain
actually
both in your
brought them together
lifestyle.
because I never really thought about it. And the crazy part is health is wealth right now. I feel like if you're healthy, you're wealthy. I lost a lot of friends
No, it's
recently, a lot
true.
of people just passing away. So to me, health is like the number one commodity. Like I don't even know how else to put it right now.
It
So
is.
well, we ain't gonna hold these people up too much
It
longer,
is,
man.
man.
Me and Trey Bag got a chance to really
Yeah.
chop it up.
And listen, real quick.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Yep. And no, I was gonna say, and yeah, so that's why, I broke down the Rule 72 in the book to show the importance of, if you make certain investments early in life, you know, where it could be later on in life,
Right.
you know. So, it's a good book, it's a good read, it's not long, it's like 60 something pages. But I can tell you one thing, the information in there is very valuable. And I always tell people what you want to do is you want to take this information and expound on it like I
Right.
did when I was given information about, learning how to trade the S&P 500. I used that information and then I went and got books.
You gotta
And
keep
that's
it
it. This
going
is
though.
like a seed planter for both the fitness aspect and the finance aspect. I'm planting
Well,
seeds.
we're gonna right. Well, we had a good interview today, man. We're gonna wrap this thing up, y'all. I
Word?
hope y'all got something out of this, man. Trey, I ain't gonna hold you too much longer, man. I know
Yep.
you had to get. We got
You heard
things to
me?
do. I got things to do. Yeah, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I can hear you now. I can hear you now.
Yeah, this thing is probably overloaded, man. We're gonna have to wrap this up.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's wrap it up, man. But yeah, man, it was a good conversation, man. I'm glad we was able to talk about all this stuff, man. And we're gonna do it again. We're gonna do it
No,
again.
absolutely. Like I
Um,
said, I do this from the crib, so I'll be calling back and just jumping on here and just sharing some information, man. I appreciate you making time for me today. I wish your busy schedule,
definitely,
man. Once again, the book.
definitely.
Plug the book one more time, Trey.
Fitness and finance. Basically, how to manage your health and wealth.
Health is wealth.
Certified personal trainer. Certified
Absolutely.
personal trainer, active investor, and trader.
Once again, I want to shout out your sister Ramona.
Yeah,
Ramona,
Ramona. Shout out to
you
my
keep hitting
sister
the mic. You're
Ramona.
messing us up, man. Stop touching the mic.
Oh,
Ramona,
oh,
I want to say shout out to Ramona. Shout out to Exquisite, Mike, and everybody else, man. Shout out to brother Donovan, your moms, you, and everybody off of
Donovan.
Regent Place, the whole Flatbush Famous, man. I saw they was doing the biggest Charlotte the other day too.
Yes,
That was
yes.
dope. That was dope, man, to see
That
your
was dope.
moms and everybody for the birthday.
Yep.
Once again, you're my brother in love, my brother in Christ, man. We came out of the streets to where we are now. Just always want to show your redemption story, show my redemption story. So I thank God for using us as a vessel Once again, it's another episode of Flatbush Famous, man. We just doing it how we do it, man. Trey Bag. Peace, y'all.
Peace, Kev. Peace, Flatbush Famous.
Flatbush Famous. Glad you was able to do it today, brother. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate the time too.
Yeah, my man Trey, Flatbush Famous, man. We out.
All right, we
Peace.
out. Peace.
What you tell them? Yeah. Pain come and get a gift wrap. Yeah. Successes only took it like a kid now. Up and then wide. I'm going across the Brooklyn Bridge. And baby come to Flatbush.